Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Halia Zulma Shakira from 7.1 or 8 SKS. Today, I want to show you my presentation about implementation of democracy in 2024 simultaneous election in terms of attitudes. The first, we go to the research background. After 78 years Indonesia was independence, this was the first time Indonesia held the simultaneous election, where in the simultaneous election, all election was due in one time. And for this first time simultaneous election, there's a lot of things that can be highlighted, especially the attitude, where the attitude of the candidate from the vice presidential, and also the DPR RI and H was highlighted as a downgrade of attitude from this simultaneous election. And this is my problem formulation and my research objective. This is my research design based on my project today. And let's go to the data. The first data, presidential candidate number 1 that denigrated or judged the candidate number 2. And the second data is the vice presidential number 2 that was rude when responding to vice presidential candidate number 3. And the last is the number 1 vice presidential candidate who changed the prayer lyrics. And let's go to the analyze question 1. How to conduct the 2024 simultaneous election in accordance with attitude perspective. So, from the first data, things that look impolite, because as the candidate of presidential, he must give a good example for the citizen before become a presidential. Because as we know, presidential was a leader for the citizen. And when the presidential give a bad example, of course, the citizen also give the same example for the edge. And then in the second data, this is considered impolite because as we know, the vice presidential number 2 is younger than the vice presidential number 3. So even though they was give a different opinion, they always must be polite each other. And then in the third data, this should not be done because religion is the involved for personal gain. So let's not be done by the third or the first vice presidential. So the way to run election in civilized manner is the first, not bringing down our opponents or our rivals. 2, think before you act in all perspective. 3, pay attention to other people's feeling. And 4, don't use something unrelated as a shield of your victory. Then we next to the analyze question 2. How the recommendation for government based on our observation in the simultaneous election in 2024. The simultaneous election held in 2024 bring a lot of improves, like election that are held and openly, to cost effective, faster in the implementation, and political power is more stable, and the last supervision is more efficient. But beside of that improvement, there's disadvantage from the simultaneous election. The first is ethical moral decline, like what I say in the data, and number 2 is the complexity faced by the voters. 2, dominance of the big parties, and 4, there's too much focus on the presidential election. And number 5 is political risk. So from that, the recommendation for government from the simultaneous election in 2024 is the first, pay attention to an imposed sanction and candidates' pairs. 4, 2, be more selective in choosing candidates for the DPR, DPD, the presidential and the vice presidential and H. 3, pay attention to big parties. And 4, pay close attention to local issues. So from all of my explanation, from analyze 1, analyze 2, we can take a conclusion that we must conduct election in polite manner, avoiding behavior that belittles political opponents, consider actions before taking them, paying attention to other people's feelings, and not using irrelevant things such as our shield of victory. And number 2, the recommendation for society is don't jump to conclusion easily and still respect difference or opinion, because in reality everyone has their own opinion, and they shouldn't force their thought on other people. So I think enough about my presentation project today. Any question?
If the simultaneous election you choose one candidate, but your chosen candidate was defeated, what will you do, Alia?
When what I choose is defeat, I want to keep my opinion and not force other people to choose what my opinion. Because as we know, Indonesia is a tolerance country that we can't force other people to same with us, because all people have their own right to choose their opinion.
Okay, I think just that. Okay.
Okay,
Just
thank
one.
you for your nice presentation. Your title is Implementation of Democracy
Yes.
in the 2024 Simultaneous Election from Attitude Point of View. So, my first question is, in your opinion, what do you think about general election 2024?
In the simultaneous election, I think it's a good thing, because there's a lot of improvement, but I said before, there's a lot of improvement that make Indonesia can more development. When from the first is the minimize of the economic, then it can be used for other things. Then when we do general election in the normally before, there's a lot of money that must be out for the using. So I think it's more good for the simultaneous election in 2024.
Okay, for the next question, in your current age, you don't have a right to vote.
Yes.
But one day, if you have the right to vote, what your attitude or behavior to implement for choosing the best president in your country?
I think I need to see from any perspective, like from how they do before they become the presidential and how they do for their citizen. From that, I can choose where is the best people to I get vote. And even though I can get vote, I can make decision if what I choose is the best. Because all people have their opinion and not all people have the same opinion like me. So I think I must be wise with what I will do in the future.
Okay. And then I have a study case. Okay. For example, in your family, one of member your family have the right to vote. Maybe your mother or father or your older brother or sister,
Okay.
but they don't want to use the right to vote because the vision and mission cannot fulfill what they need. So, as a student, as a young generation, how's your attitude or how's your solution? Give the solution for your member of family.
Okay, that was difficult to answer it, but I have my own answer. So I think there's a lot of case like that in this Indonesia, but let's we see in other perspective. Of course, not in one people just have the bad. Of course, they have the good things on their self. And we must see that, and we can choose that from the good perspective. We see where's the most good when the others, where the others, and from that we can explain to our family or our friends or our in people in our environment if Of course, all people have a good side, and we must see that. So don't maximize this time is said by Golput, because that was bad for Indonesia, because presidential is a leader for all people. So if one people feel not good with this presidential, of course they feel don't happy with their presidential.
And then my last question out of the topic, yeah. This project in this semester it's totally different with the last project. In the last project, there's a topic and you have to review it and then connect it based on some subjects. But in this project, you only have a one topic and you have to explain clearly. And then the topic it's about general election.
Yes.
Then in your current age, you don't have the right to choose.
Yes.
So, what's your positive impact after you finishing this project? Even it's about the general election and you don't have the right to vote.
Okay. The good impact. The first is from the good impact. I know if general election or simultaneous election is really give impact for us. So from that, I have a motivation. If when I have the right to choose, I must choose wisely, and I must know where the good side I must choose. Then from that, I also know if the obligation to choose is the obligation for all citizens in Indonesia, not all one city, not all one town. No, it's for all. So I think I will not do the Golput for the future.
Enough?
Enough.